today's video, the top 10 renal diet bad habits that are so bad, they're practically war crimes against your kidneys. Seriously, if your eating habits look anything like what I'm about to show you, well, let's just say I hope your insurance is better than your dietary choices. Don't miss my number 1 in particular, because that one bad habit is enough to undo everything good you have done for your kidneys. My name is Catherine and I'm a doctor in natural medicine. Let's start now with our number 10, a common dietary habit that's super bad for your kidneys. This is using Celtic salt. Oh, that's awful stuff. Just don't use it. Okay, up next, number... Wait, you wanna know why Celtic salt is so bad for you? Okay guys, I've noticed that more and more people are sprinkling Celtic salt on their food like it's magic dust. But who even told you that this stuff was good for you?
Celtic sea salt.
Celtic salt.
Celtic salt.
I let my Celtic salt.
Celtic salt or
Celtic, or you might pronounce it Celtic.
Oh, those pesky influencers are at it again, convincing you that Celtic salt is the holy grail, and I get their point. Trust me, I do. Celtic salt is awesome. I mean, it's awesome if you are an influencer. Imagine selling regular old table salt to people for $30 a pop just because it has a fancy name. Yeah, you get it now? Free money! But of course, if you are the one buying Celtic salt, you're not just flushing your money down the drain, you're also flushing your health away. Because keep this in mind, alright? All salt is salt. It's like the Kardashian. No matter how you dress it up, it's still the same thing underneath. So I don't care if it's Himalayan or if it's pink, if it's yellow or if it's green or if it's Celtic. All table salt is salt. And you know what's just as bad as Celtic salt? Number 9. Forgetting about spices. Oh, you're worried that without all that Celtic salt, your food is going to taste like cardboard? Well, don't fret. There is an alternative. And trust me, forgetting about this will be a colossal mistake. Spices, of course, can be the best friends of your kidneys. Chili peppers, for example, are inversely associated with chronic kidney disease, which means that those that consume more chilies are less at risk for CKD. Then there is ginger, which helps with inflammation, increases blood flow to the kidneys, helps digestion. Turmeric can fight inflammatory conditions associated with CKD. Cinnamon helps with diabetes. Peppermint is a powerful antioxidant. Garlic lowers blood pressure. And there is more, of course, because most spices have some health benefits. So the next time you're tempted to reach for that Celtic salt or worse, some junk food that'll have your kidneys begging for mercy, remember to raid your spice rack instead. Up next, number 8 is taking random kidney supplements. I mean, who needs Russian roulette when you've got the supplement aisle, right? Seriously, there is a reason your doctor gives you that look, the one that says, "Did you really just do that?" every time you confess to popping some new miracle pill. And no, it's not because big pharma and big supplement are in some kind of epic cage match over your wallet. Let me show you. Nowadays, new supplements marketed for kidney patients are coming out like mushrooms after autumn rain. Every day, a new kidney cleanse, kidney support, or kidney health supplement hits the market and cha-ching! Some companies making bank, while your kidneys are left wondering, what the heck is this? So these kidney supplements are popping up faster than conspiracy theories on the internet. And every time a patient tells me they've started taking one of these mystery mixes, I start sweating like a sinner in church, because now who knows if their lab results are due to their CKD or that sketchy supplement they've picked up online. And now these patients are genuinely confused. They'll ask, "But doc, this says it's for the kidneys. How can it be bad for my CKD?" Well, let me break it down for you. Not all kidney problems are created equal. Some people have chronic kidney disease, while others, many others, are just dealing with a UTI or kidney stones. And guess what? Most of these supplements are aimed at the latter. Here is an example. This is called Kidney Cleanse from Dr. Bo. You think it's a godsend for someone with CKD, right? Wrong. Let's pick at the ingredients. Oh, cranberry extract. This is for preventing UTIs. You probably don't need it. And then there is birch leaf, buko leaf, goldenrod grass, horsetail, juniper berry. These are mostly diuretics. Sure, they might be okay for someone with UTI or kidney stones, but if you're already on prescription diuretics for CKD, that's a one-way ticket to dehydration town. Very bad for your kidneys. Oh, and let's not forget the grand finale, Chanca Piedra, only good for kidney stones, and Cassia Cinnamon. Now, if you're taking cinnamon for diabetes, you need Ceylon, not this Cassia garbage that could mess with your liver faster than your uncle's homemade moonshine. So yeah, now you see why doctors break out in hives when they hear about supplements. Not all kidney diseases are created equal, and these supplement brands don't exactly come with a warning label that says not for CKD, because that, well, could hurt sales. Moving on to another bad habit that makes me want to scream into a pillow. Number 7, eating dried fruit. So when it comes to fruit, remember this, everything's peachy until you decide to shrivel that peach into a raisin. Why? Because dried fruit is basically potassium with added potassium. So bananas are fine, but dried apricots are the devil? Look, I know it's confusing, but let me explain. Here's the deal. Most high potassium fruits and veggies have been given a pass for CKD patients. But like with everything good in life, there are exceptions. Sure, eating a banana or an avocado might nudge your potassium levels up a bit, but it's all good. They're packed with vitamins, minerals, fiber, and other goodies. But dried apricots, raisins, prunes, these little suckers have 5 times the potassium of a banana with none of the perks. When fruit dries out, it's like it says, screw the nutrients, let's just hoard the potassium. So yeah, most fruit are healthy, but keep in mind that there are exceptions. Speaking of which, our number 6 is eating grapefruit. Guys, there is probably one single fruit that's bad for most patients, even if you eat raw, fresh, from an organic field, the grapefruit. But why a fruit that looks just as innocent as an orange is so bad for the kidneys, you may ask? Let me explain. So it turns out the grapefruit is basically the mean girl of the fruit world. It looks harmless, but it's got a dark side. In fact, this fruit doesn't just have beef with 1 or 2 medications. It's got a grudge against almost all of them. As we can see, the grapefruit can have interactions with almost all medications. Grapefruit interacts, for example, with statins, with calcium channel blockers, with the medications taken by transplant receivers, with prostate medications, with opioids, and honestly, the list goes on longer than a CVS receipt. But why is that? Grapefruit contains a sneaky little compound called bergamottin that messes with an enzyme in your liver called cytochrome P450. This enzyme is like the cleanup crew that comes in after your meds have done their job, ready to sweep them out of your system. But when bergamottin shows up, it's like the cleanup crew decided to take a nap, leaving all those meds hanging around way longer than they should, turning your morning routine into a game of medication roulette. And trust me, that's one game you do not want to play. Now, number 5 may be even worse than those dangerous fruits. It is not eating enough fruit and vegetables every day. Let me explain. Probably the main challenges of living with kidney disease is dealing with the accumulation of uremic toxins in your blood. These are harmful substances such as creatinine, urea, and nitrogen that cause the symptoms of kidney failure. Normally, your kidneys will filter them out, but when you have CKD, you have to find other ways. And did you know that there is another way to get rid of these toxins, which is through your gut? Your gut can help you detoxify your blood and improve your kidney health as long as it works as it should. This is what a large meta-analysis found out, meaning that this is not just a theory, it was observed in a large amount of patients. Unfortunately, a huge number of CKD patients are still not eating enough fruits and veggies, which means their guts are slacking off on the job. Without enough fiber, especially soluble fiber, your gut's not gonna work right and your kidneys are going to pay the price. It's like expecting your car to run on fumes. Eventually, you're gonna break down on the side of the road. So yeah, do your kidneys a favor and eat your veggies unless you want your intestines to turn into a traffic jam of toxins. Up next, number 4, let's circle back to salt and excess potassium for a moment. For a bad habit that puts these two kidney enemy together for a team of supervillains. Number 4 is using sodium-free salt substitutes such as Morton, Nu-Salt, or No Salt. Okay guys, have you ever heard about those sodium-free table salt replacements? On paper, they are great. They trick your taste buds into thinking you're still indulging in that salty goodness, but without the sodium. Because you see, someone in a lab coat figured out that potassium chloride, which is an ionic compound made of potassium and chlorine, tastes just as salty as sodium chloride, which is your regular table salt. And that's amazing. I mean, for the general population, that is. In fact, most people tend to have too high sodium and too low potassium, so they switch table salt for Morton, Nu-Salt, or No Salt, and boom, their sodium intake decrease, potassium intake increase, and their blood pressure gets better. Unfortunately, however, for people with CKD unless potassium level is actually low, I can't recommend using these substitutes because it may compound a potassium problem that already exists. Remember, if it's in regular fruit, the potassium is probably fine, but if it's a supplement or dried fruit, better avoid it. Up next, number 3, let's talk about something else you are probably better avoiding. Number 3 is calorie-dense foods. That is, if you are diabetic or overweight. Okay guys, not to brag, but I've been on diet recently and I've lost a bunch of weight without actually dieting at all. Okay, maybe I'm bragging just a little, but you see, mine was a zero effort diet and it worked. Yeah, that's the perk of being a doctor in natural medicine. What's my secret, you ask? Simple. Replace every single caloric-dense food you eat with low-calories, nutrient-dense foods, which is a fancy way of saying out with the processed junk, in with fruit and veggies. So that's exactly what you want to do in case you are having problems losing weight. Now, when most people think of calorie-dense foods, their minds go straight to sugar and ultra-processed grains. However, there is a category of foods that's even more caloric-dense and, by a lot, high-fat foods. Yes, I know, some fats are good for you, but let's be honest, most people are downing way more oil, butter, fried foods, restaurant dishes, cheese, and nuts than their bodies need or want. Remember, a teaspoon of olive oil, a meal is healthy, but if you consume the whole bottle in 1 week, well, I hope you've got some stretchy pants on standby because that waistband's about to give up on life. Up next, number 2, a bad habit for people that are struggling to keep their weight on. Okay, do you remember what I said about 5 seconds ago about not being able to lose weight without removing most fats from your diet? Well, if your problem is not being able to keep your weight on, you have to do the complete opposite of what my previous tip says, alright? So, what you want to do here is focusing on caloric-dense foods, but only on those foods that won't harm your kidneys. Yeah, no Big Mac and fries, sorry. What you can do if you are malnourished and if you are losing muscle mass due to advanced CKD is adding olive oil to everything you eat. Because that's super rich in calories, and calories are what make all the difference between losing and gaining weight. Speaking of calories, add nuts to your smoothies. Eat bread, pasta, and pizza every day, especially if you have access to foods prepared with a proteic flour. Use honey, add spreads, heck, even margarine is fine. Basically, you want to get as much calories as possible per bite, so you don't have to eat more in order to keep your body weight. Remember, your body doesn't know how many calories you are getting per meal, alright? It only knows how much the food you eat is stretching your stomach. Okay guys, what could be even worse than losing precious muscle mass that, by the way, damages the kidneys as it goes away from your body? Well, our number one is eating too much protein. When it comes to managing kidney disease through the diet, protein is always the very first point. And the reason is clear. Following a low-protein diet is key to stop or even reverse kidney disease. There are studies confirming that even patients in stage 4 and 5 can reverse kidney disease if they are following a low-protein diet. But unfortunately, the kind of diet that a CKD stage 4 patient needs to follow contains even less protein than your average vegan diet. Yeah, you heard that right. You need to eat less protein than a vegan. So what should you do? Well, the best course of action is clearly knowing very well how much protein a day you are eating. So yeah, you should count your protein. There are two ways to do that. First, you could have a dietitian preparing you a diet that you would have to follow. That's something I always recommend, by the way. And also, you can get informed. You can learn what foods contain protein and how much of it. You can then measure everything you eat and use an app such as Chronometer to make sure you are in the right range for protein intake and other nutrients. And guys, if you want to know more about what foods to eat and what to avoid, this video up here is for you. And this is all for today. Thank you for watching. God bless you all. Ciao, ciao.